What is up, guys? Having some technical difficulties in the lab tonight, but apart from that, I thought I would still try to do maybe a quick little live stream on something I've been putting off for far too long. I've been wanting to finish up this, or at least make some progress on this 3D printed quad project. This is the PEON 230 you can download from Thingiverse. And I wanted to take this with some really budget components and just see how well this can fly on the new Betaflight software and flight controllers and stuff. But I think what I'll do is I'm going to actually use an older flight controller in it and just see how it goes. But what I got, Bangood came through in Bangood fashion and sent me a whole bunch of equipment and a whole pile of stickers. Lots of Bangood stickers. They sent me some equipment quite a while ago that for this project, and I thought it would be just perfect. These are super budget priced Racerstar BR2205 2300 kV motors. And I thought, how perfect would this be to see what we can do with a 3D printed quad with some really cheap motors? And these things I think are actually fantastic. They're well, like I said, they're Racerstar brand. I like the purple on them. They're quite kind of neat looking. They are in the fashion of the red bottoms, the 2206 red bottoms, but kind of budget priced. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, cheers, guys. I'm not sure. Oh, that's what's got going on. I wondered why I wasn't getting any chat. There we go. Cheers, Jeremiah. Cheers, Armando. And John. Nice to see you. Yeah, this frame turned out really well. So, this was actually... Did I print this one? I can't remember. I had two. A very good friend of mine printed one, which this could be it, and I printed one. Well, actually, I think this is the one he printed. I printed mine in ABS, and one is PLA, and I think this is PLA. Excuse me. Oh, wow. That came out of nowhere. But I think this, in combination with these motors, will actually work fantastic. I see no reason why not. So what else did Bangood send me? Let's check it out. They sent me enough running gear that, well, they sent me speed controls and motors, as well as I think some props too. It was a nice little care package. So what I got is these extreme budget TTSRC BL Heli S firmware 30 amp speed controls, which is plenty enough to run this quad. And they're really quite tiny, as most of the 30 amp speed controls are nowadays. So what we'll do is we're gonna, well, I think I'm gonna cheat here. I think I'm gonna cheat like crazy and not trim any of the wires, because truthfully I don't know how long I'm gonna fly this thing. I have much more enjoyable quads to fly, so I don't want to, I don't think I want to trim all the wiring right back and make it all nice and pretty and form fitted like I did with the Red October build. I think what we'll do is we'll just bunch up the spare wires and mount things kind of like so, and leave the extra wiring, which is it's going to look like not so great, but it won't add that much weight. These are nice, really thin silicone wires, and they don't weigh much, so I don't think it's a big deal. And they sent me a few props to try out. King Kong 5x4. Oh, 5x4 and by 5x4.5 by 3, and inside. Oh yes. Yes, I love these. Oh, I really like these. These would have looked really cool on the Red October build. In fact, I might steal a set of these. Let's have a look, see what they look like. I have never played with these props before. Oh, I like that. What do you guys think? Isn't that... Wow. That is a good looking prop. Well, the airfoil is really, really basic. Nothing crazy going on there. Kind of like halfway between a bull nose and a pointy tip, and super glass clear. That is classy. That is gonna be That's gonna be kind of neat. How's it good? Half the fun with these little quads is seeing what it's gonna look like. That's gonna look pretty neat together. Yeah, thank you to Bangood.com for sending some cool stuff. And I really am gonna steal. I wish it wasn't out in the other room. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and check out my Red October quad build. It's my favorite quadcopter build I've ever done. I custom painted a frame and set everything up. So I'll catch up with you guys real quick. Are they brushless? Yes, they sure are. Zach's here. Cheers, Zach. I have a PEON printed too. Haven't had the time to learn to fly it. I've had this sitting around. I had both of them for so long. It's just about time that I just bloody well get it done. So I don't know how far we're going to take this tonight. I just wanted to do a general overview. I cheated. I think what I'm going to do, normally this is a double-decker, kind of like a QAV 250 and way higher, but I think with the current stuff, the current electronics available now, we can probably build it as like a low profile quad. I don't know whether I'll mount a HD camera on it or not. I haven't decided what we'll do. I think first things first, we'll put some electronics on it and get it to fly. And well, we have everything on the bench here with the exception of a flight control. And I have some spare SP Racing F3 flight controls, which are no longer like a current thing anymore. Everybody's on to F4s and greater. So I think it would be just fine to use. I have good luck with the SP Racing F3s. They are a great flight control. In fact, the only flight control that I ever had fail was not an SP Racing F3, and it was the one on the Red October build. It was the Betaflight flight controller, and it was also based on an SP F3, but it was the Betaflight one, and it actually failed. Okay, first things first. The #1 trick to building a quad. Let's switch to, let's see if we can go to the micro. #1 important thing is your screws coming through your arms. You do not want them coming through any more than necessary, otherwise they will punch through the, go all the way through the motor bell and into the stator wires and destroy your motor. Actually, rotor wires in the case of, no, stator wires and, no, rotor wires, sorry. What the, oh yeah, stator moves on this one, rotor. Duh. It will punch into the windings and that will be the end of your motor. And I thankfully have not made that mistake, but far too many people have. Cheers, hack on. All right. So I think we're going to try the shortest ones. Motor rotation is marked on the motor. This was a clockwise motor, and which way is which on this quad? What's the front? I guess it doesn't matter. We can make it whatever we want, but I already lost track. I'm not familiar with the frame. Okay, front is this way. So let's do an F on it so Eric doesn't forget again in 5 minutes. And that would be the wrong way. That would be the right way. We want the prop spinning in. Actually, I shouldn't even say that anymore. People are actually trying different rotations on the props. They're doing the opposite now, and it actually avoids crap getting thrown up on the camera, as well as rejects impacts with terrain better. So will those short screws even work? They will if you have the right driver. Yeah. It's not a lot of threads bit there, but just enough. Just enough. So we need that one, and that one. Short ones only, please. One long one invariably ends up sneaking in and screwing up your quadcopter. It seems to happen to a lot of people who start building quads. So. But overall, what the? That's really tight. Overall, I really like the look of these Racerstars. I know they have a long track record. They're not a new motor, so I think I'm in good shape with testing them out. The wild card's going to be, how well does our frame work? How well does a 3D printed frame actually hold up in the grand scheme of things? And we can't use those motor holes. The PEON has two different setups through the arm, and 50-50, I picked the wrong one. We need them in the big slotted holes, which the hardware doesn't fit through. What the heck? This is surprising. I thought those would be the standard ones. Let's just take a closer look. The standard holes have the wires come off. I was in the right holes, I just... Interesting. I think we need to use the X slots, but they're not enlarged big enough if we want our wires to come out properly. No, they're not. They're not big enough for the hardware to fit through. Huh. That sucks. I bet you there's probably a remake on Thingiverse that fixes that. Okay, well, so be it. We can have the wires come off at a tiny angle. It's not the end of the world. How much of an angle will they come off at? That way would be forward. Yeah, we can have them come off at an angle. It's gonna be ugly though. No, we can't do that. We certainly can't have them come forward. And coming back is, man, oh man, they stick. Well, here, I'll put one piece of hardware in. Let's just take a look and see whether we can live with it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do some routering and enlarging or reprint this frame. I betcha, like I said, I betcha there's a remake, because I betcha I'm not the only one who's run into this. Yeah, that is. Well, let's put one of them in. Let's see if we can live with it. I guess we could just stick it, because I'm not going to trim the wires, I guess we could just stick it together. Oh, I need the proper size. Well, that is not the proper size. That isn't either. Either that or this hardware that came with these really sucks, which is quite possible. It will do, but I think the paint coating that they've got on them is quite thick. Or I guess it's probably not paint, it's probably anodizing, but it does seem to be thick because my Allen key does not fit in terribly well. Alright, there's two in. And our wires come off the back of the arm very undesirably. But, question is, if we pull them tight, focus, is it going to be a problem? No, it won't. We can live with that. I can pull them back, and then we're just going to be zip tying the excess. We can live with this. We can live with this. How heavy is the frame? Let's find out. That's a good question. I'm not going to pull that motor back off of there. You guys can do some math for me. Come on. 129.5 grams with motor, with one motor. And a motor weighs 28.5. So I say 129.5, 28.5, so 101 grams. There you go. Yep, 101 grams. There you go. That is what it weighs. It is not terribly heavy at all. I think you could actually print it a little bit heavier than this. I don't know what the durability is going to be, but I can tell you just by hand feel, it's pretty tough. I don't know how well it will hold up in a crash, to be honest. I don't have high hopes for a 3D printed frame and crashes. If this was, say, 2 years ago, back when I built my first QAV 250, I think times were different then, and our machines honestly were not nearly as insane as what they are now, and the crashes seem to be a lot more tolerable. Now with my my 210s and my 230s, when I put them through a crash, it's pretty brutal sometimes, but yeah, I think we'll go through and maybe, I don't know whether we'll bother Loctiting things, but there we go. That's 4 fasteners in. That is fugly. I would never want this on a long-term build, and that is not a fault of the motors at all. That is strictly a fault of the frame design, which is easily remedied because, well, it's 3D printed. We can fix such things. I had to use the X slots and had to file them for the screws to fit. Thanks, Zach. I'm glad you verified that. I would expect there's probably a remix on Thingiverse by now to fix that, because this is a standard hole pattern. So I expect pretty much most people run into that same issue. So it wouldn't take much in the files to fix that up at all. So we just happened to grab one with the colored nut. It's just lock nuts on these, pretty standard, same as my red bottoms. And we grabbed the right one, so it's going to spin this way, and props rotating into the middle. You can always reverse them, but because these are set up for they have different threads on the shaft, right and left hand threads, you want to put them in the right place. So we want, yeah, something like so. We want to use that hole. This is hard to do when you're on camera and trying to look at the way it would be dependent on infill material and such. Yep, sure would, Zach. If you guys haven't met Zach before, Zach is also a YouTuber and does a lot of 3D printing. Don't know what he's got for projects on the go lately, but you guys might want to check out his channel. Julian is here. Oscar Hotel 8 Sierra Tango November. I think I got that right. Sorry, my computer's pretty far away, Julian. Julian is also another YouTuber, guys. And if you check out Julian's channel, you will find all kinds of stuff on really cool amateur radio. and cool projects. Hopefully the weather is thawing out near you by now, Julian. You're getting a little bit closer to something resembling spring. It's beautiful here today. We had nice sunshine all day long. It was gorgeous. It was a very good day. It was too good to be inside, hence I didn't get a lot of electronics done. I did do some work last night and the night before. I shared with just a couple of people. I designed a long-range notification system using LoRa, current detection system, and I'm going to use the Adafruit feather system with LoRa radios and a Adafruit feather OLED, I think. And it's actually for my day job too. It's actually for work. We need this out in the field. So I'm not sure how much I can share with you guys. They're not gonna, like, the company I work for has patents to wazoo. They're not gonna be able to do such a thing in this case because of the way I'm designing it and then the sources I'm getting the parts and the code, which is thankfully Adafruit and people like you guys out there watching who have shared your code. But I'll try and share some of it because it's a fun little project. It's a sticky situation with the day job because when I do things for the day job, if it comes out of my brain, they actually kind of own it in a way. So, but I'd love to share it with you. I did the full PCB. I did the schematic and fritzing. I did the PCB layout. All the design for the circuits for the piezo buzzer and stuff. And it's all done except for the routing of the circuit board, which I can't do until I actually have it prototyped on the bench and make sure that the GPIOs I've picked are going to work and stuff like that. All right, there. We'll do this motor. We'll do these wires kind of coming off that. That's not so bad. It would have been better if they came off in the middle using the other slots, but this isn't so bad. Hill's Workbench is here. Cheers. No chance it was minus 26 on the weekend. And it was like that here not too long ago too. It was well, actually, it's been a while since we hit minus 26, to be honest. I think the only days they got close to that, I was gone and I was hiding on a Caribbean island for a week. But yeah, I think we've been minus 20 to 22 is the coldest we got this winter, I think. Something like that. Ruining my skiing. Yeah, no good for you, Hills Workbench. You'll be getting the thaw as well, I'm sure. Thanks for the shout out from Zach. Haven't had much on the go lately. Unheated workshop. Yeah, that puts a dent in things. I'm fortunate enough to have my workbench here. I don't have a lot of space in here. It's a pretty small area, but it gets the job done. I have the larger studio area, which is around the corner over there, but I don't have any of my electronics stuff in there. I'll show you guys a little sneak peek here in 1 second. Just tighten these up. Perfect. Look at that. It's starting to look like a quadcopter. Check this out. Look at this in the background. See this? You're going to see this upcoming on the channel. I splurged and I finally bought myself a dual channel function arbitrary waveform generator. So a signal and an arbitrary waveform generator. So I can generate just any kind of signal I want now. Like literally anything you could ever desire. I've needed one lots of times, and it would have helped a lot. Like, I'm no expert in electronics at all, but I learn every time I play with things, and it always just rubbed me the wrong way that I couldn't just generate an arbitrary signal into the circuit I was working on to test a hypothesis or test my math or test that the system actually worked without having to go live out in the field. So I finally bought one, and there goes the screw. You will see a full review video probably in 2 weeks. It is on my desktop to be edited. It works bloody fantastic. It's a Fuel Tech unit. I love it. I can't wait to test out my new LoRa radio system with it, because now instead of the system I'm measuring with that alerter that I mentioned a few minutes ago that I designed, it's actually measuring current on 690 volt three-phase system, and it's also very high in the sky and not easily accessible. And I don't want to have to take the thing into the field every time I want to do an actual functional test. Well, now I can test it right on my workbench, because I can simulate what the current transformer is sending to my microcontroller, which is the Atmega 32U4. And it's a microcontroller I've never used on the channel here before. I can't wait to give it a try. Yeah, it's going to be fun. David Watts is here. Cheers, David. Good to see you. That was funny. I was was it the Unexpected Maker channel today, David? Yeah, I think it's the Unexpected Maker. It's a new channel I've just subscribed to in the last few months. And I watched his video, and he was shouting out all the YouTube channels that give him inspiration, and Mr. David Watts made the list because of his kind of very pragmatic and very real approach to his videos. And David doesn't hide anything. By the way, you guys should check out his channel. And he got kind of what David called a scathing description of his channel, and I knew David was kidding. I could tell. And the original poster was a little. I think he was a little concerned that David was upset with him. But it was very cool. It was funny. Funny way to start my Sunday morning. All right, look at that. We got a quadcopter. We got a quad. The basics of a quad, anyway. A 3D printed one at that, with some nice super budget hardware. I will append the video description and put right down below a link to these parts, because they are extremely price reasonable from corporate shilling right here from Bangood.com. They actually don't send me much. Bangood and we don't work together very often, but when they do offer up something that I know I can make like a neat project, like a 3D printed quadcopter, how far wrong can we go? Like, dirt cheap, can somebody get in the air with like super budget stuff? So I said, absolutely, I will take your gear and give it a try. But I don't very often work with them. I work with GearBest quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, not terribly often. I'm trying to take, I don't take a lot of parts for review anymore. I truthfully don't have enough time to do reviews. Oh, I just have to see. I just gotta see. What does one of these props look like on here? And will it fit? Well, it should. It's a 230 frame, so these props should be perfect. Not like it matters, because we're gonna take it back off here. Oh, that's kind of neat, eh? That's gonna be kind of cool. That's gonna be an interesting look. This is gonna be a neat looking little quad. I love the purple motors too. That's gonna be fun. Alright guys, I think what I'll do, because I don't have a lot of time tonight, so I'm going to cut the broadcast short, and what I'll do, I'll just go through and I'll solder up the electronic speed controls and tidy up the wires. Like I said, I don't think I'll cut these wires. I'll just kind of double things back and kind of hide them the best I can. In this case, we actually have some deep channels in these frames. I could run them around and bury them in the channel back here, which is kind of a no-no on like a production or flying quad, because this is where things get chewed up on the ground, especially when you slide on asphalt or whatever. But for proof of concept on this quad, it would be absolutely fine, and you can actually run it down. The PEON has these this is what's cool about this compared to carbon fiber. It's got all these holes. We can actually run our wires through the frame, and that's not possible on most carbon frames unless they've been drilled for it, and they're generally an afterthought, and it makes them weak. So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and I'll solder these 30 amp speed controls, these BL Heli. These are, I can flash these to the newest firmware through my flight control when we're done. I'll show you guys how to do it. Super, super easy. It just flashes right through the data communication. And we'll hook it up to our SP Racing F3. There's nothing to this build. It's just a few, like, 2 more hours and it would be done. So, but I don't have the time tonight. If you guys don't mind, click a thumbs up on this video. It really helps the channel if you guys like these live shows. What frame is this? This is the PEON 230 from thingiverse.com. I will link it in the description tomorrow or later tonight when the video renders and goes up. I'll post a link to it. But yeah, you can download this and print it. This one's the PLA one, not my ABS one, so we'll give it a try and see whether it holds up. All right, guys, good hanging out with you. It was a fun little, just a few minutes of assembling something in the lab. I like to try and do such things on a Sunday night. I will see you guys very soon. If you didn't see it already, check out my Friday vid. And next Friday, there is actually a quad review going live. And then the upcoming videos after that, I have 3 mailbag videos. I have the review of that signal gen. Oh, David might like this. I got inspired from David's channel. Check this out. David will know what this is. This is a Tesla coil audio speaker, like an amplifier, and the audio output is the Tesla coil. David built one of these on his channel. Simple little cool fun little project, and I thought this would be great on a rainy day on the weekend. I'll put this together, and who doesn't like Tesla coils? So yeah, it'll be fun. I think it'll be a fun project. I will catch up with you guys soon enough. Have a fantastic night. Good luck in all your projects this week. Hit me up in the Discord. The link is down below. I'll be there in 10 minutes or so. Cheers.